So we've all seen the Vogue article saying it's cringe to have a boyfriend.
I know, and I've got a fiance.
I was going to say, I want to put it to you that you have a husband and you have a fiance.
Yeah.
So
not cool anymore.
Like so much worse than a boyfriend, or is it better?
But I haven't read the article or understand anything. But
we'll explain it to you.
Can't understand
I'm so glad you're here.
What's the alternative? Sad and
single
lonely.
No. So
okay, yes, you can be single and happy.
The article's point is that
arguably more
it used
happy.
to be so built into our being that like you couldn't be alone. You need someone.
Yeah, okay.
And then now it's become this thing of like it's better to be with nobody than be with the wrong person.
Okay.
And they're saying it's cringe to like post your partner on social media.
I think I was getting
like,
it, and then they just went cringe, and it was like, okay, I lost you now.
Don't want to know.
Before it was like everyone wanted a boyfriend, like every girl wanted a boyfriend, and now like I do feel it a little bit when people are like, oh, so you were, so I'm like, yeah, no, I do have a boyfriend. Like it's almost like
about it.
Yeah.
What I thought it was about was the idea, like, I love being able to say I have a husband. I found fiance weird, and
Fiance's
now
weird.
of course we're at the point where I say my husband, saying Steph's my boyfriend is like, oh, weird.
See, I don't like boyfriend or
Fiancé.
I just say partner. I say partner.
Yeah. And so I that's what I thought it was all about.
If you're enjoying, please do subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers, so we'd be super grateful. Anyway, back to the video. And I talk to my mum about this all the time because my mum thinks I have high standards.
As you should.
And the point is now is that because women do not need men to function, we can vote, we can own our own homes, we can divorce, we can do what we
you do
can
need
have
a man
jobs.
or someone at least to divorce.
Yes, you do need a man if you're going to divorce.
Or a woman.
But
You need someone else.
Yeah, you need someone to
You
divorce.
can't be a divorcee.
But like the point
Being
is
divorced is the most chic thing, I think.
so chic, divorcee.
I'll tell my mum that.
I think it is. I've seen quite because it's again the idea of you've got with someone, it's the wrong person. You're better to be divorced than with the wrong person.
Yeah.
So don't be sat there in this shit relationship just because that feels like the right thing to do. It's better to be out of it and happy and on your own than be with someone who's crap.
And because nowadays there is so much freedom and there's also so much choice, like the era of social media, you can see how other women are being treated. You can see other women being like, my boyfriend bought me flowers on the way home just because, or like,
comparing.
this is the kind of love I deserve. So you sit there and your standards are different to what they used to be. So I talk about my standards for a partner and my mum is like, do you not think you're asking too much? But nowadays men do have to be that much better because we don't need them. They need to add to your life and not cause more of a hindrance. Because you know what? Being single and alone, we have our female friendships are incredibly empowering and very fulfilling. We have jobs and lives that are fulfilling enough and that we can own our own money and do everything by ourselves. So if you're going to be in my life as a partner, you need to add something to it. You don't need to be an issue that I'm having to sort.
And I think
all
that's
the time.
it. It's like this idea of actually having a partner, having someone that is your teammate, having someone that is like the other half of you that makes your life together, rather than an accessory, rather than this thing on the side.
Or that you need to be perceived as successful because that's kind of what it was before. If you were single, then you're a spinster and you're a crazy cat lady and all this.
Yeah.
And now it's like, actually, pop off.
Yeah.
Like you've chosen to be alone. Even if you haven't chosen, it's fine to be.
And it
I
kind
can
of
get
brings
that.
me to like when we come up with this episode and we're thinking about what we want to talk about, and what I want to talk about was you can't train a man. Because in my mind, I'm not here to tell you how to get better. I'm an emotionally intelligent individual who's done the work on myself to understand communication styles, love languages, how I want to be treated, how I want to treat someone. I'm not here to train you and to mother you into being a better person or being a different person.
Yeah.
And I think so many of my girlfriends will be like, oh, he does this, but we're working on it. Or take an example that's like so like out of the ether. It's not even like to do with me or anything, but imagine a boyfriend that watches football all weekend, every weekend.
This is Steph, isn't it?
No, it's my boyfriend.
My friend has a boyfriend.
Like Mel Robbins used the example in her book, The Let Them Theory. She used the example of if you have a partner who doesn't want to exercise, he wants to be fitter, he wants to be healthier, but he doesn't do it.
Yeah, purpose.
And he wants to be this person who goes to the gym and eats clean and but never does. And you as a partner are getting frustrated at this person not doing it. you physically cannot make that person get up and go to the gym.
No.
You can only control what you can do, and you cannot make another adult person change. The only thing that will make them change is when they want to change. And by you constantly saying, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, they just resent you.
Yeah.
So in the more relatable example of what happens when your boyfriend watches football every weekend, in my case, and I've said this to many of my friends, I'm not here to tell a person what they can and can't do. If you come to the conclusion one day that you value spending time with me, your partner, more than watching football on the sofa by yourself, that's fine. I'll be there. But I'm not going to tell you shouldn't watch football all weekend because then you'll resent me.
Yeah.
Because you can't do the things you love.
And it's
their
also
own
the other way
choice, right?
around. Like if you are with someone who wants to do that, that is your choice to.
Well, this is the thing, because I was thinking
it doesn't
this.
have to bother you. If it does bother you, that's a problem you have. And like you say, it
not their
works
problem.
the same way around. They don't have to suddenly change because it's something you would rather. That just means you're either with the wrong person or.
Yeah, you
know.
should. I've written down, like, I don't think you should train them, even if you could.
Yeah.
Because you've chosen to be with them. There are some things that you're like, oh, hang on, you're constantly being, like, you've changed to be more negative or something. So
Yeah.
you're like, actually, maybe you're right. You're being quite negative framing about stuff, but it's not their baseline person. But if you meet them and they're just always at the football, then, like, you shouldn't have to change that. You know what you've signed up
And
for.
don't think that just because you get a ring or that you get married, that suddenly like things are going to be changed. We're going to talk about
no, a
marriage
ring does not
massively,
change.
But, you know, I think this is it. And this idea of like, again, finding someone that you are going to have as a partner, as a life partner, choose wisely. Like, don't choose someone to then bring up to your level. Choose someone who's already at your level or who you aspire to be at, you know.
Because I had this with my ex-boyfriend, who everyone that knows me knows I loved incredibly, and we broke up and it was really hard. But I always said to him when he was kind of like, we can work through this, I'm going to change. He went to therapy, he did a lot to try and change. But I always said to him, you deserve someone that loves you for who you are.
Yeah.
You deserve to be with someone who loves you wholly and doesn't want you to change.
And you can grow, but I don't think you should have to change them.
And it's different if it's like, oh, our communication styles aren't quite perfect, or like our love languages are slightly different, and you can learn to communicate better with another person or learn to love them the way they want to be loved instead of the way that you are used to loving someone. It's different if it's little things that you can amend. But I've got girlfriends who talk about their partners, and it is a personality transplant that they're looking for. They're really looking to change this person.
Or the way they were at the
can't.
very beginning. Because sometimes when you're first together, they're amazing. But you shouldn't hold on to the idea of someone, of what they were. They're not going to become that again.
Or are they amazing because you are in that honeymoon period? And it's so lovely meeting someone. I can imagine the most heartbreaking thing is probably being with someone and then them changing for whatever reason, maybe trauma or whatever, and then suddenly they're not the person that you fell in love with.
You just see
you know,
that.
that must be really heartbreaking. But what advice would you give to anyone? Like, because I think you're right. I think we are on the precipice of, that's not a word, but anyway, we're on
Precipice is a word.
I just said it wrong, didn't I?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm overthinking it.
We won't go into your speech impediment now.
Thank you. Let's not do that. She can't speak. But a lot of women have are probably in relationships right now where they have just sort of gone from step to step to step because that's what they were kind of told they had to do.
Feel stuck in that.
Assuming that they haven't got married already, what would you... No?
Do you need advice?
No, I'm fine. I'm just saying then it's different advice if you've already got married. But I mean, maybe it's the same
The advice is more legal. It's divorce.
I don't know. You might need a lawyer for that one.
what I feel like I'm taking my own advice in my current relationship in the fact that like I believe in the let them theory, which I've spoken about already, but let them. Let them show you who they are. Don't try and change them, especially early on in a relationship when you meet this guy, he's super hot, you really like him, everything's great. And then he starts to show you who he is. And you're like, oh, he doesn't reply to me for 10 hours or he wants to do this instead of hanging out with me. Let him do it and let him show you what he enjoys, who he is. Because if you start to change him, you don't really know who is this person and who is the person that I've made him into. Have I made him into someone that wants to hang out with me and my family every weekend? Have I made him into someone that messages me back all the time? Is this the person I've created?
It's kind of like the short answer is you probably can't and you probably won't have made. You might think you have at the beginning.
Yeah,
but you shouldn't.
I keep thinking. I'm almost 100% sure that my boyfriend will never watch this podcast, so I can speak honestly. But
you should speak honestly anyway.
I am 100% sure if I ever came to the conclusion where I didn't want to be with him anymore, there's a part of me that thinks maybe he'd be like, okay, actually, I love you enough, I like you enough, that it is more important to be with you than watching the football or whatever the issues are.
But if he hasn't come to that conclusion already, then will he go back to it?
But you can only communicate, like, he might not know that's an issue.
then all that's
He
gonna
might
happen-
have no idea
They might not
that I
know.
sit at home every weekend struggling.
Yeah.
Because that's not what my previous
All that's going to
relationship
happen
was
if
like.
that happens is that you're going to, every 3 years in your relationship, you're going to have this very difficult conversation where you're thinking, oh, I'm not happy. And he's going to go, oh, let me change everything again.
But like, you can only say,
Let it go.
yeah, Todd's hair just fell out.
the short answer is to girls that are in relationships that are not working and they're not changing, except that you can't change them. If they want to change, if this person wanted to stop watching football because they realize you're important enough, if that's where their priorities shift to you above football, then fine, because they have come to the conclusion themselves that you are more important, then that's fine. Then they will change of their own accord. But if you're telling them to change, and they're not changing, let them, and you have to accept that that's not your person, because your person wouldn't treat you like that.
Dump them.
Dump them.
That's her advice.
I always err on the side of dumping.
Yeah.
Always.
You've heard it here. This is it. That's what you're always going to get advice from Heather.
Yeah, dump them.